Hello and welcome to another live virtual Tool University demo by Rhino Toolhouse. My name is Cole Pollock. I'm a sales engineer here for Rhino Toolhouse covering North Dakota and Northwest Minnesota. If you're not familiar with who we are, our mission is to identify and deliver the most innovative industrial solutions. We cover over 30 states. We have 65 plus sales engineers and 10 applications engineers. Today we're going to be working with one of our valued suppliers, Advanced Manipulator. As you see, we're at their facility here today. Advanced opened in 1995 in Hoffman, Minnesota. They handled the design, engineering, fab, and assembly of torque reaction arms, manipulators, and custom machines. But first I want to stop, take a moment, tell you a quick story. Living up here in the north end of the country in North Dakota and Minnesota, we're subjected to some pretty harsh winters, which you've maybe seen on the news. They've recently even started naming our winter storms now, which is kind of a new thing for us. A few years ago, I didn't actually have a working snowblower. I was shoveling my driveway for the most part, doing all that by hand. I actually injured my back twice that winter, and one of which, the second time, was 2 days before we went on a family vacation. It was the first time we were taking our kids on a plane. We're going to go to Florida and see some nice weather. That injury impacted my vacation for like the first 2 or 3 days before I really started to feel myself again, be able to run around with my kids and do things on the beach and just have fun. So I think it's really important that we have the right tools for the job, that we're not working in situations that are putting ourselves in a bad ergonomic spot. So that kind of brings me to today's topic. How do we make pick and place applications efficient and safe? So before we get started, I want you to consider these 3 things. First, do you have areas of your facility where employees are doing repetitive lifting or lifting heavy items? Are you concerned about back injuries or finger, hand, and arm injuries as far as reaching in and out of containers, moving material around? Would you like to increase your efficiency of your material handling? If you answered yes to any of these questions, I think what you're going to see today is going to be very beneficial. A couple quick things. You see that we have everybody on mute today. If you have any questions, feel free to go down to the chat box, enter your question in there. At the end of the demo, we'll have a few minutes to go through and answer all those questions for you. Lastly, I want to introduce Brent from the Advanced team here. He's going to go through and walk us through these demos now. So here he is. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Cole. Also want to thank Dave Johnson, the legendary salesman from Rhino Toolhouse. He's helping us out behind the scenes here at the moment. So yes, I'm Brent. I'm one of the design engineers here at Advanced Manipulator. And today we're just going to walk through a couple demonstrations with manipulators. We'll look at a couple videos of some other system projects we've done. And after that, we'll take a few questions. So let's get started. Our first arm here, we've got, this is what we call a single arm. We've got the lift cylinders hidden away inside the horizontal tube up there. We've got a telescoping tube system here at the end with a linear guide rail. And at the end, we've got a magnet that's actuated by a pneumatic cylinder. We can do lots of different things on the end effector. We can put vacuum cups, we can do grippers, basically whatever the application calls for. If you take a look at each of the pivots up here, we've got spring-applied parking brakes. Our standard procedure is to have 2 levers on the back of the handlebars. Grabbing either one of those levers will release the parking brakes. Again, they're spring-applied, so you don't have to worry about shutting air off in the plant at night or over the weekend and having the arms drift. Also, the other feature is whenever you let go of the manipulator, obviously the parking brakes will come on, keep the arm from swinging to areas where you don't want it. So like I said, this particular manipulator has a magnet with a pneumatic actuator controlling it. We have a limit switch here, verifying that we've got product in here. So we're balanced when we're empty and what we call dead weight. We hit the activate button. And now we're switching over to a preset live weight. So now we're balanced to be able to maneuver our part around. And as you can see, the main advantage of a manipulator, we're maintaining control of the orientation of the part. We can tilt, we can rotate, whatever the application needs. So we're not, unlike a lifting crane on a cable, we don't have our object swinging unpredictably. We can control what we're doing with it. Another feature we have is when we hit the release button, if we're in midair, we're not just going to let go of the part. We're slowly setting the part down until our lift cylinder sees that the part weight has been removed from the arm. before we let go. And then once we let go of the part, we return to the dead weight. This is a common style lifting arm that we have, what we call a single double. We've got parallel arms out here doing our lifting. This particular manipulator has a vacuum end effector, and also we have a tilt function on it. So we can grab onto a tabletop. Now this particular arm also has what we call a sense load. It's an entirely pneumatic system that once we establish vacuum on our vacuum systems, we ensure that we have vacuum achieved before we allow the part to lift. Once we let go of the vacuum on lift button, within a second we'll take a reading and then we'll calibrate to whatever weight of part we have. So if you're handling lots of different weight parts, there's no changeover for any of that. It just does it automatically for you. And again, we've got tilt function on this. So we're able to turn the part vertical. And again, we have the anti-drop feature, so we got to make sure that the part is set down before we actually allow the part to be released. So really, when it comes to manipulators, we'll have a similar setup at the top. What is unique to each application is what happens here at the end effector. Like I said, this particular one, we can tilt, we can rotate parts. We need to reach in to a machining center. We can do all of those features. So you can see we got a lot of different applications, whatever you happen to have for part handling, to reduce any ergonomic problems, repetitive lifting, those types of things. In fact, Dave, I believe you're someone who I can see after the pandemic is over, you're looking to have a big backyard barbecue with all your Rhino Toolhouse buddies. What's an issue with getting ready for such an event? Moving picnic tables, right, Dave? Even though you're an extremely fit individual, moving a lot of these things is kind of a pain. Getting set up for a big party, be a hassle. Here again, we've got the manipulator. Easily position picnic tables wherever you want in your yard. Place them. You know, you're ready for the party. That's not all. After the party, you got a mess to clean up, right? Just simply bring the table over, right over your recycling bin. Go ahead, clean off. Simple as that. That's not all. Now we're able to simply have access to folding the table up, placing it directly into your storage cart. You're ready. Cleanup is easy. Also, on this particular manipulator, we have a telescoping pedestal. It's just another option that you can add to change the height of your manipulator if you need to. So Dave, what is I see that look in your eye. You're wondering how do we start this process? You just simply get a hold of your, as you know, your knowledgeable Toolhouse representative, Rhino Toolhouse person, get the ball rolling with a quote, and we'll send it into Gary here at Advanced, and we'll work up a plan for you. Throughout the process, we're able to do design reviews via WebEx, those types of things. So you're at a distance away, it's not really an issue. Now I guess we'd like to go through a few video clips. And to do this segment, you're probably gonna wanna click on your video options, your view options for you viewers, and select side-by-side mode. So first up, we've got a press brake manipulator. This charming, good-looking individual is gonna run through show us how this machine operates. So there's a lot of issues when you're dealing with a press brake. You got parts with sharp edges, multiple people having to lift these things around. So that's why we're really looking forward to getting this type of manipulator out there to reduce repetitive injuries, lifting of these sheets as they're forming. You can see here that the controls are actually tied into we got the push buttons that mimic the actuation of the foot pedal. And the end effector can rotate over to do back bends. So flipping of the part doesn't require multiple people. One operator can do it. There's 4 indexed positions that are locked in place with a pin. And we can use that to align the part with the back stops and the brake press. Handlebars adjustable up and down. And again, we can flip back over, taking away the most dangerous aspect of doing the forming of flipping, rotating, and moving these parts with sharp edges. Also allowing the operator to do it by himself without requiring multiple people to lift large sheets. There's 2 lasers in this particular system. One's monitoring the brake ram height and the positioning of the arm. So we're comparing those to release the clutch during the forming process. So there's really minimal integration with the brake press. It's just external lasers. Multiple bends forming. It's definitely much easier. I could tell you this particular individual running this brake press has exactly 0 days of professional press brake operation. So that's what we're looking to do, is to eliminate all those lifting, sheet handling, potential injuries. Once again, this is a sense load machine, so whatever the part weight is, it automatically will calibrate. Next up, we have this skid steer positioning manipulator. This is utilized in assembly process at the plant, where they're looking to not have to bend over the outside frame of the skid steer unit to install the hydraulic components. Typically what they would have to do is they would have to physically lift the heavy hydraulic components over the side. So this machine enables them to pick the whole frame up and basically orient it in a position where they can easily just set the parts in and get them fastened right to the sides of the unit without having to reach over anything. All the access is made much easier by just simply turning the whole unit. You can see we've got joystick control here, variable speed, different push button functions on this. There again, we can rotate back to the other side, so they basically can put in the hydraulic components for each side of the unit in each orientation. Capacity is definitely variable with our machines. We've got pneumatic machines for the lighter applications, and we move into, like, this is a hydraulic unit when we get into the heavy lifting. And we can also utilize, overhead hoists, winches, gantry cranes. Basically, whatever the application requires, we'll incorporate an end effector to whatever kind of motion's necessary for getting the assembly process done. Here again, you can see a part needs to be set down all the way before the release is allowed, preventing the part from being released in midair. This next machine is a big automated system for assembling door panels. It used to require individuals manually carrying these panels from one station to the next. And now we have our part was the end effector that's lowering down here, and then in the background you can see the overhead structure, the white overhead structure. Was our portion of the unit. This particular project kind of inspired the 8,000 square foot addition here at our facility. Prior to that, we were unable to do a big system like this. So prior to this machine, individuals were manually carrying the parts over to place into their existing orange line here that fills the doors with foam. So it's a 400-pound capacity, and we can handle 40-foot doors. This is loading into the input side of the assembly machine. And then the other half of the system was the unload section, which is what we're looking at right now. Dropping into their foam line. It's the orange portion. You can pick up up to 40 feet of door panel, remove it on the opposite side, and then bring it over to the manual roller conveyor, where from there it goes into packaging and shipment. So this system will enable them to increase the automation of their already very automated line. And it also reduced their cycle time from 2 minutes down to 30 seconds per unit. So that's the main objectives we focus on, is we want to improve efficiency while eliminating potential injuries and amount of manual labor necessary. The last video segment is of our Manipluator. And this is an example of basically applying end effectors to a mobile unit. This is an omnidirectional vehicle. Underneath the yellow covers on the unit there are omnidirectional wheels, so it enables the machine to move in any direction. And this also had a capacity of 7,000 pounds for moving the track assemblies. Also, one of the benefits of this machine was there's a quick attach on the front of it, so the portion that's moving up and down there you can remove to put on different end effectors. There was hydraulics on the end effectors with a quick release, so you could unhook from an assembly moving unit and then have different attachments to handle all the individual components needed for the assembly process. I'd take this entire completed unit and bring it over to the tractor on the line, and there's cameras mounted up top to be able to view alignment of a shaft into a seal as they assemble, bring the unit into the tractor. So the very fine motions allowed by this unit allowed this machine to really improve their assembly process. So with that, that's the end of our video segment. We'll just open up for any questions.
Great demo and video. So we have a couple questions in. First one, what is the largest manipulator that you've built?
Yeah, largest manipulator, physical size that we saw in the video was that automated system, as far as the sheer physical size of that automated system. And as far as capacity-wise, I believe the Manipluator unit you saw there at the end of the video with a capacity of 7,500 pounds would be probably the largest capacity. We can build our machines to whatever the situation requires. So.
Awesome. Next one, do you have any off-the-shelf manipulators?
We don't really have any off-the-shelf manipulators, simply because the end effectors are unique to every project. We have fairly standard lifting arms, but what happens down at the business end is specific to each application, so that's where we get custom and manage it to each application, designed to each application.
Wonderful. Question here says, I live down south. Are you able to supply a manipulator in the southern states?
Sorry, what was that?
The question
Oh,
is,
down south?
Yep, I
Oh,
live
as
down
far as
south.
where we can send manipulators? Yeah, that's not a problem. We deal across the entire United States. As far as typically during the process, like I believe I mentioned earlier, we can do design reviews of our SolidWorks models, have direct contact with the customer. Also, as far as runoff to see the final machine, we can do a simple video runoff like we're doing here, or you can come in person to do the runoff. So there's no issue as far as dealing anywhere in the United States.
Fantastic. Next question here. On the bender example for the videos, so the first video, what moves the arm up when making the bend?
Oh, what moves the arm? Oh, okay, we're looking at the brake press machine, I believe.
Yes.
What moves it up? So in the particular example with the brake press machine, the part is being held in the air. We move into the press, so the arm is still lifting all the time on that part. The only thing we're doing as we're forming is we're releasing a clutch and allowing the part to move with the manipulator, or unlocking the rotation, and then relocking it once the press opens up. So, good question.
Awesome. Can your manipulators mount to overhead bridge cranes?
Yep, definitely. We can mount to overhead gantry cranes. That's not a problem. Basically, you could take this manipulator here and just mount the end effector right off of a drop tube on an overhead gantry crane. So that's certainly a possibility.
Wonderful. And it looks like that is it for questions. So with that, I'll send it back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Brent and Gary and the Advanced Manipulator team for a great demonstration. My name is Dave Johnson. I'm the Regional Sales Manager for the Great Plains region. And with the completion of today's virtual event, we have now completed 32 Tool University events over the past 6 weeks. That, if you can believe, began on March 25th with the hope of opening day and Major League Baseball season. So since then, we've had over 2,000 people attend these virtual demonstrations and presentations. These events have ranged from how to improve your ergonomics through lifting with intelligent servo devices, or as shown today with manipulators here. And we've also shown improving your quality through smart click wrenches, power tools, all the way to solutions utilizing augmented reality and collaborative robots. Each and every one of these events has supported our mission to identify and deliver the world's most innovative industrial solutions. As we take a pause on these virtual events until June, I'd like to share a very brief story. Like many families, my family makes time to volunteer. And one specific organization we volunteer at is Many Hands and Many Meals, which is preparing food for those in need, similar to Feed My Starving Children. No, I'm not here asking for a donation or a pat on the back, but want to recognize that when working together, packing meals, we achieve much, much more, and our reach is much, much farther than going at it alone. Likewise in manufacturing, know that when we work together, we can provide the most value to you, our clients, our vendor partners, and our colleagues. So I ask everyone to continue to be safe, kind, and work together during these unprecedented times. These virtual presentations and demonstrations were a learning experience for our organization. And I believe they turned out great. And I must recognize two people and thank them very specifically. Stephen Vogt and Ari Benwellum in our marketing department for their tremendous support, organizing, producing, directing each and every one of these events. Thank you guys. You guys did a great, great job. So as we close out today's Tool University event, most importantly, thank each and every one of you, our customers, for attending these Tool University events. We trust you found value in them and look forward to seeing you in your factories in the near future. In the meantime, please continue to call, email, text, and yes, even Zoom with your sales engineers, as we are open and available to serve and support you. Please also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and our YouTube channel, where you can find all of these videos that we've done over the past 6 weeks. As Tim Robbins, aka Andy Dufresne, says in Shawshank Redemption, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and all good things never die. So on behalf of Rhino Toolhouse, hoping you stay safe and healthy, and hope you the very best, especially moms this weekend. Thank you.